guys, so it's Vlogust day 18 and Mike had to do that. We have Wolf sitting in between us right now, so if you hear any panting or whining or anything like that, she's having a little bit of a sensitive time at the moment with her phantom pregnancy, so she won't move basically. So today we're going to be doing a Ask Fleur video, but we're making it an Ask Fleur and Mike video because we're doing my #1 like most requested Ask Fleur topic, which is relationships. Not that we're experts, but you know, you guys have asked us lots of questions on Twitter. First tip, what not to do is let a dog like take over your whole life. We didn't do that, did we? No, not at all. Not at all with you. Okay, so we're going to split this into two different videos, I think, because we've been asked a lot of questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sounds
a lot of questions. So this is part 1. I haven't actually looked. This isn't about relationships, but Talia DeCarlos asks, who is a better cook?
That'll be me.
No, I'm a better cook.
What?
You just cook more often.
Ever? That's such rubbish. Not even close to being a better cook. I'm
much more adventurous. You just cook like standard.
Yeah, mine's done.
Standard. This is a good one. So, Alisa Lou asks, is it hard finding time for your relationship with having friends, YouTube, family, etc.?
Good question.
I think sometimes it can be, especially YouTube takes up a lot of my day.
Yeah. Like
a lot, and even in the evening and everything, and you sometimes get frustrated with that. But I think what you have to do is realise that you need to prioritise your relationship sometimes and actually actively say, hey, we need to like take a chill pill.
Yeah.
And
hey, Wolfie, we need
not literally take a chill, but Wolf needs to take a chill pill.
No.
Crazy Wolf.
Full of dog.
Jen Lasita asks, how did you know when you were ready to get engaged or married? I love all your videos. That's a question for you because you're the one that did the asking.
Indeed. Well, we've gone out for quite a while, and we'd moved in together, so we knew.
We've been living together for like 3 years.
Yeah, so
over 3 years.
So we knew fairly like we were comfy with each other, and I think it's more just a.
Woof.
She's very excited. I think it's more just a time that some things just click. It's not a matter of...
It's like a serious topic and Wolf's like...
Oh dear, Wolfie.
You calm down, good girl.
I think it's more just like the time's right. When it's right, it's right. It's never something that's like a... I must admit, the one thing, it's never something that's like a fairy tale. Like, relationships aren't fairy tales. Like, they are relationships.
I'm a princess, though.
Obviously, and I'm a prince. But, like, that's a big thing that I think that is a misconception that everyone expects to be a sparkle every day. There's ups and downs, and it's life, and you've got to embrace that. And it's when you when you learn to embrace that, and when you learn to find someone that embraces it with you, I think that's when it matters, and that's when you know it's right. That's probably nice.
Very insightful answer.
Philosophical.
Very nice. A lot of people have asked about how we decided to move in together and how long we think that it should be before we move in together. One question here is from Julia 012357 who asks, how long do you think you have to be dating before you move in together? And there is a lot of questions here. I've seen a lot when I've been looking through them today.
So my opinion is I don't
when
think
did you move in together, and how... I saw one earlier, I can't remember who asked it, but it was, how did you know, like, how did you first broach the subject with each other?
I mean, I think firstly, I think there is never a time limit on when you should or shouldn't move in together. And that's, another thing.
Definitely.
That, like, we have friends that have been going out a really short period of time moving together, and others that have been going out a long period of time that have moved together. I think just whenever your situation is right, I mean, our situation was right as that at the
when
time,
we first met, we were
in,
both living at home. And Mike, you were like coming to move into this house. Probably a year. We'd been going out for a year, and you were preparing to move into this house, and it was kind of not even. I don't think there was even a point where we actually. It
wasn't like I said, "Are you moving in?" It was
like, "Will you move in with me?" It was kind of like a. Oh yeah, well that's what's going to happen because we already knew we were quite serious. For me, I know that feeling of when we first started going out. It was like an instantly serious relationship. There was no. We never really played any games. We never really, and that was the difference for me. I'd never had a relationship like that before. We just kind of knew, if you know what I mean. Like, we just knew it was serious. We knew that what we both wanted, and Yeah.
We were happy.
Yeah, I think there's no answer. I think it depends on the individual relationship. Everybody is different. Like everybody will have a different road in how they, you know, develop their relationship when they move in.
You should never put the time limit on something. I don't think there's never it's like there's never a time when you have to do this by. There's no law. It's not something that you have to do. It's something that you want to do. And so when that time is right, it's right. I think that's what I think.
Here's an interesting one from AEM always. I don't know quite what's going on there. What are your opinions on cheating? Should you give second chances?
Me personally, a lot depends on the situation, but generally I'd say no.
I don't think so. I think it would change the dynamic of the relationship so much.
I think my personal opinion is if you're in a relationship where you're that happy, if you're stupid enough to go out and make, I know that sounds harsh, but if you're stupid enough to make that mistake, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You've ended the relationship, and that is the way I look at it. Though it's something I could never imagine happening, and it'd be very hard if it happened.
Yeah.
Like I imagine if you're the person that's not the one that's been cheated on, it's very hard to all of a sudden stop loving that person because you haven't changed.
But it's also really hard to, as like in a relationship, to have the same relationship again after someone's cheated on you is virtually impossible because it takes the trust away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never know what has happened, and the point now is obviously we're getting married. If in 20 years that happened somewhere down the line, you do have to think about more than just, like, what's going on. You have to think about the fact that you potentially have a family. Like, it gets more complicated as life goes on. But I think in our relationship so far, we've very much, like, we've never had a situation like that, thank goodness. But we've always been both very, very, like, forceful in saying that if you cheated on me, that would be it. But I do think going forward, it has to be like, I hope it never happens in our relationship or in anyone's. You know, it's never ideal, but I do think when it gets more serious, that it kind of the dynamic does change.
Yeah, but I still think in a sense it's something that you just it's something that it's not acceptable. If you're in a relationship where you're not happy, you have to deal with that first before you can move on. It's just it's not fair on that other person. It's not fair.
Okay, there's been quite a few similar questions to this as well. JoyMac85 asks, how do you guys handle arguments? And there's been a few more asking, like, how is the best way to handle arguments, not just specific to us. It's funny with me and Mike, because we actually have very, very different personalities. Mike is very, very level-headed and will always, like, you are difficult to upset. But when you get upset, it's bad. Like, it will last a while and you will...
But it's not an upset.
You don't forgive easily.
It's never a shout or like a volume.
No,
it's
you get
silence.
hurt. Yeah, and Woofy is panting like mad. You get really...
Like some Ribena?
You're a lot more sensitive no, that's wrong. I'm more sensitive. But you react. Like, if for somebody to really upset you will get...
They've got to push me quite far.
Yeah. Whereas for me, I've got quite a fiery personality, so one little thing will set me off and I'll go off on a rant and you'll just be like, and all of our family have said we both deal with each other so well because you bring me back down from that and you're like, oh, just come on, think about it rationally, calm down.
I always confront the situation first, whereas you try to go up at it and then you want to go away. Yeah. Whereas I'm like, no, think about what you said.
Whereas when you work yourself up and have like an issue with something, I will know how to talk you out of it as well. I think with arguments, we're talking about getting in arguments with other people, I guess, but I think we very much know how each other work.
I don't call it an argument though. I always think it's more of an educated debate. But
no, because I'm quite fiery and I also am quite a stickler for the truth as well, which is what my sister said in the sister tag. So if you say something that's like, you forget someone's name, I'll be like, how can you forget the name? You've known them for like 3 years. Like, how can you not possibly know their name? Like, I get like really frustrated about stuff like that.
It's because your mind works
so in a very different way to you.
Whereas mine's has its special like route it goes along to get to the end.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a roundabout question, but I think you answer to the question. But I think you have to be when you're in tune with each other. I think it's easier to deal with arguments, but everybody's going to have arguments, even the happiest. Yeah, now we've got a bit more space. Brilliant.
Relax.
She's going to stand by the camera now and pants. It's going to be louder. But I think, you know, when you're growing as a relationship, you learn how to deal with each other and deal with each other's arguments. And obviously, if you're arguing all the time, constantly, maybe it isn't working. I don't know.
There's some people.
Some people have arguments all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas for me, it's just usually
Just
me being like, ah, and you being like, calm down, like, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Someone's asked me, it's Samantha, has asked me, how do you know that he is the right guy? Well, not really sure, to be honest. I don't know with us, like I said before, it was very much, from the beginning, it just felt different. Like, it felt, at the time, I met Mike just before I was about to start university, literally 2 weeks before. And I was literally like, I said to you, I was like, I don't really want a boyfriend, you know, it's probably the worst time for me to meet you. So I don't really know what I want. And you were really straight with me at the same time. You were literally like, Woof is licking my feet. Woof, come on.
Come here.
Come on. Come sit here.
There you go.
You were literally like, well, I want to go out with you, so you need to give me an answer. And it was very much like, you were like, I'm interested. Like, we were both very, very direct with each other, weren't we? I've even forgotten what the question was. How did you know who was the one? But yeah, right from the beginning, and then we made the decision, we'll see, you know, we'll start going out, see how it goes, and then I am, like, obviously very glad that we started the relationship, but for some reason at that point, I knew it wasn't the ideal time to start a relationship, but right from the word go, like, I knew that it was more than just, like, oh yeah, a few months relationship. I knew it was serious. And that's what a lot of people say as well about our relationship. It's always been, like, serious.
Yeah, it's been grown up.
Yeah, I think like we were out of all of our friends, we were like the couple that are like, oh, they'll get married, or like because we moved in and like, you know, we're very much living an older relationship than a lot of our other friends. Like, we're the first ones to get engaged, and
yeah,
I think
which
is scary in a way, actually.
Apart from Nick. Okay.
Yeah, but they're a little bit older because they're your age, whereas most of our other friends are my age, which Mike is 27 next week. You are 27 next week. Yeah.
Next week?
The week after next. Like, you'll think it's next week, but I always think you're 27 already. I just think you're older than you are. So you're 26, nearly 27, and I'm 24.
He said I'm going silver, not
grey. Silver fox. Getting old. Right, that is it for part 1, guys. Join us tomorrow for part 2, and we'll be answering more of your questions. Bye-bye.